just sitting and waiting for grief to move is not a plan. That is not a grief plan. That's not a survival plan. I'm sorry, that's just a survival plan. I'm just going to wait in this grief. All right, my friends, I'm so glad you're here. You are not drowning because you're weak. You're not drowning in the grief because you're weak. You're drowning because nobody has ever taught you how to do this grief. Nobody has ever taught you how to do this grief. Hey, everybody, can you do me a favor? Can you share the live right now so we can get more people in here? Just tap share and it'll go out. And we can get more people in here that really need this. You're not drowning in your grief because you're weak. Nobody taught you what to do with your broken heart. Nobody came up to you and said, okay, Sharon, okay, Becky, here you are. You have a broken heart, and this is what you're going to do. Until now. Because nobody absolutely told me how to do it. I had to go out there and figure it out. And here I am standing before you, what is going to be 19 years later, and this is where I am. Hey, Suzanne, good morning. Nobody taught you what to do with a broken heart. Nobody taught you what grief does to your brain, what it does to your body, what it does to your thoughts, what it does to your sleep. Most of us, when we came onto the grieving process, we were learning all of that. We were learning, wow, my brain is feeling blown. I can't sleep. I can't eat. A lot of us had those experiences for the first time. But guess what? There are people out there and they come and they hand us the clichés. They hand us the clichés and tell us, here's your tool. You are to be strong. You need to be strong for your husband. You need to be strong for your wife. You should keep busy. You should keep busy. You should allow the time. Take time. You should stay positive while you are on your grief healing journey. That's what he would want from you. So they come with all of these things that you should do, but they do not have the answers of how you are going to move this grief. They don't have the answers on how you're going to move beyond this. And when I tell you they mean well, I'm telling you they mean well. But none of that is going to help us move our grief. It only helps us to hide it, to push it down so deep that we can't share it with them. And hiding grief doesn't disappear. When we hide the grief, that hidden grief is not going to disappear. It grows. And here's the truth. Your brain is overwhelmed. It's overwhelmed from the shock of what has just happened to you. It is scanning everywhere for danger. All day long, it is looking for danger. It is trying to protect you from the next hit. This is coming, that's coming, that's coming. And then you start becoming the detective and you start adding up all of the places that the danger is hanging out. Your brain is overwhelmed from the shock. Your heart is carrying this pain. It was never meant to carry. The weight you feel in your chest is not weakness. That is grief pain. And your body has not learned how to release it yet. And that's what we talk about here at the Grief School. Your nervous system is still reacting to the loss that happened yesterday. Your nervous system is still reacting to the loss that happened yesterday. And it's still trying to figure it out. And when you sit with people who are telling you to just give it time, he wouldn't want you to be that way. That is not what you're supposed to do, period. The grieving process is an action process. It's an action. You do actions in your grief. You do action steps to move your grief. Number one, showing up at this live, watching this video is an action step. Acknowledging that you are grieving, saying to yourself that you are absolutely a griever, acknowledging that this is grief. But before you can even answer what is grief, before you can even answer what grief really is, you got to know what it is. You have to truly know what it is. You, the griever, has to understand what grief is. Grief is an emotional experience that takes place in your heart. It is not an intellectual experience that's taking place in your brain. Grief is not going to just go away if you wait. The nervous system is still trying to react to the loss, the fog, the panic, the exhaustion. the forgetfulness, the irritability, all of it is your biology trying to keep you alive. It's trying to work on all of this together. You're not failing. You're not weak. You just haven't met the right place to teach you how to do this thing. 100%, I believe that we were born, when we came here with the ability, we were born with the ability to do this grief thing. We knew how to do it when we got here. We cry. We cried when we were sad, when we were little. I have a set of 3-year-old twins, man, they cry every single day. When they're not happy about something, they cry. When they're upset about something, they cry. Then they go to their parents and they look for the direction and what they're supposed to be doing. And when I tell you we cry a million times a day around here, we cry a million times a day. Because when we're sad, when we're hungry, when we're upset, when our heart hurts, when our brother hurts our feelings, we cry. We do the thing. We process the pain out of our heart naturally. We naturally do that. We naturally do that. We didn't fail at it. We knew how to do it. But over time, that thing that we came here with, the ability to grieve, was taken from us. Not on purpose, but it was taken from us. You stop that crying, little girl, or I'm going to give you something to cry for. You don't need to do that. I'm going to tell you what to do here. You stop that crying. And the truth is, over time, we were moved further and further away from what felt natural to us, from what was absolutely natural to us. Look, I don't need to come in here and tell you that this feels bad. You already know this feels bad. Your heart is already broken. What I come in here to do is to show you how to move beyond the pain. My job is not to show you what grief feels like. You already know. You already know you feel like not being here anymore. You already know you feel like you want to pull the covers up over your head. My job is to tell you the truth parts that nobody has told you. Grief does not heal because you wait. Grief does not heal because you stay busy. Your grief is not going to heal because you're pretending that you're okay, because you're going to work with your friends and you're smiling because you went to the party. It is not going to heal. But here's the other thing that I need to tell you, because you need to understand this. You need to understand this part. We're coming upon the grieving season. We're already in it. We just finished Halloween. We just finished All Saints Day, or Dia de los Muertos. Now we're going into Thanksgiving. Some of you have milestones in those days. Some of you have holidays in there. Some of you have stuff in there that you really need the answers to. How are you going to get through Thanksgiving? How are you going to get through Christmas? What's your plan for doing that? Is your plan, and everyone says it's small time, I'm just not going to go. Just not going is not a plan. Just not going is not going. And hear me out. Your plan could be, Sharon, I'm not going. It's absolutely okay to not attend. But what happens when you get sad? What happens when you get hungry? What happens when you start to feel lonely? Grief heals because you learn how to Grief heals because you learn how to process it. Really process it. Talk about it. Learn about it. Lean into it. And then you go after it with real tools, real work, not distractions, not avoiding, not silence. Friends, the grief pain can come down. Your thoughts can calm down. Your body can calm. Your heart can breathe. None of this happens by accident. It happens because you finally learn what grief actually is. And you learn how to look at it, touch it, be in it, not run from it, not hide. Someone who understands the psychology of grief, you start to become that person. You understand the biology of a broken heart. In 2006, my nephew Austin drowned at the lake. In 2006, Austin drowned at the lake. It was Father's Day weekend. I had no idea what grief was. I had no idea what it was. I had no idea what to do. All I knew is I needed to save this little girl. And that little girl was my sister, Erica, the mother of Austin. And she was 10 years younger than me. And I'd always shown up for her. I had always shown up for her entire life. I was the person who stepped in and did all the things, put on her shoes, got her dress, got her to her skating competitions, got her. And we have a mother. But my mom was tired. And I would do all the things. And when Austin died, it only made sense that I would do all the things. But I didn't know what the things were. And so I bought into all the bullshit that everybody was telling me. And I literally, when I tell you guys I was waiting, I just knew someone was going to show up and she was going to be a social worker and she was going to have the information. And here's the deal. She never showed up. She never showed up to give me the information. And so I became the person that I needed way back then. I became the person that I needed in 2006. In 2006, Austin drowned at the lake. In 2013, our father died of prostate cancer. And in 2015, Donovan, Erica's second child, died in a motorcycle accident 2 weeks before his 21st birthday. And for the second time, I had to tell her she had lost a child. And that grief showed up so differently. And in my mind, just like that mind that was waiting for the social worker, in my mind, we were going to do this the same way we always had. We were going to do this grief process the same way we always had. But she had a different plan. And because anger showed up for her, real, true, bitter anger showed up for her. And she was like, I don't care what y'all are doing, but I'm not doing that. And she wouldn't touch our grief program with a 10-foot pole. And after she did her much needed grief work, about a year later, she and I started to look at her process, the way she processed Donovan, as opposed to the way she processed Austin. And that's how this program was born, the second program that we have. And it's called Processing the Pain of Grief. And it is 100% for any griever who doesn't know what they're doing. This is where, if you are tired of carrying this alone, if you are in the right place. If you're tired of spinning from the heaviness, then you're in the right place. If you're tired of being strong for everyone else while you fall apart inside, this is the right place to be. Without clichés, without shortcuts, just real grief shit. Yesterday, I got the manuscript for the book. I just wrote the book, Grieve That Shit. And man, it was emotional. Because I have put in 19 years of what I've learned in grief into this book that is coming out. And all I want to do is give it to all of you. I just want to give it to all of you and say, here. Now, it is not the how-to, because I teach the how-to, but it is the, hey, this feels like shit book. And so I can't wait to give it to you guys. All right. 100 things we never knew about grief. And we are on number 58. I guess I'm in a weird place this morning. But I'm so glad that you guys are here. I hope you can see this. Number 58. All right. Working with a grief specialist. Working with a grief specialist doesn't make you weak. Working with the grief school doesn't make you weak. It makes you ready. It teaches you how to do the things. People love pretend that they can carry this grief alone. They love to pretend that they can carry it. But here's the truth. You cannot. You cannot carry this grief alone. Grief is heavier than your willpower. It is heavier than your willpower. It weighs more. You get stronger. You will get stronger the moment you stop trying to just survive alone. When we come upon our grieving experience and we get hit with the grief, it shocks our system. It shocks our system. And then we start scrambling to figure out anything we can on how to survive this thing. But once you're like, okay, I'm not going to be able to figure this out on my own. Most of us go to talk therapy at first. I love talk therapy. It's the perfect place to go. It is the perfect place to go. But when I tell you, therapists do not learn how to complete grief in their, most of them don't, in school, they can help you with the talking part. They can help you to start releasing the grief. Talking is one of the first steps. It is one of the first steps. But then once you've talked it out, then what do you do? What is the next action step? And that's what we do here at the Grief School. The Grief School is not about being broken. It's not about being done with suffering. When you get the right tools and the right guidance, the pain in your chest starts to shift. You start to think clearer. Oh man, look at me now. You breathe a little easier. Doing work is not weakness, it's wisdom. It is wisdom for you to come in and do your work. Thank you for the gifts, beautiful ladies. What support do you need right now that you keep pretending that you don't need? What support do you need right now that you keep pretending that you don't need? When I tell you that this grief is not going to move because you went and sat on the couch and you're waiting, it is not going to move because you went and sat on the couch. The other thing is, I want you to absolutely understand that we're coming upon the season of grieving. And this season, this grieving season is going to be big because not only are you the griever, but you also have this coming. We also have that. We also have, the new year. This is where you're headed. What are you, the griever, going to do for Christmas? What are you doing for the new year? Oh, I need to make a turkey. Let's see if I can do that. Okay, that's my turkey. I'm going to put it on some lettuce. It's on a bed of lettuce. That's the best I can do. I guess the leg sticks out a little bit on that side. I don't know. I'm going to end up drawing something that looks vulgar. You need, Debbie says, I need to tell the story again. I need to tell the story again. We need to talk. We need to talk. We need to talk. But it's not just talking. And Becky said, they both said it. I need to talk, but you also need people that will listen. You need people that will listen, people that will hear your story. Talking is truly important. What support do you need right now that you keep pretending that you don't? When I tell you that telling the grief story over and over again was huge for me, telling the grief story over and over again was huge for me. Because when you tell the grief story over and over again, your brain starts to accept what has happened. You start understanding. You start understanding and acknowledging what has happened. I'm sorry, guys, it's not accept. You start acknowledging what has happened to you. You start feeling it. So 58 is working at the grief school, working with a grief specialist, who truly understands where you're at, who truly understands what's going on, who's willing to listen, Yes, we are in the season of grieving. We have all of this holiday seasons coming up, but we also have milestones, anniversaries, birthdays, all of those are coming. Okay, 59. 59. 100 things that you didn't know about grief. 59. I would have to say this is probably one of the most important. This is one of the most important. Healing from grief is real. Healing from grief is real. In early grief, you can't, even when you can't see it from where you are, okay? Even when you can't see it from where you are here. Day 25. You're on the 25th day of your grief healing experience. And you're looking out for some answers and you don't see it. But when I tell you, thank Miss Suzanne, when I tell you that healing from grief is absolutely possible, in early grief, you can't imagine a day without pain. You cannot. Your brain cannot picture a life beyond the breakdowns. And you break down, break down, break down, break down. Everywhere you look, and your brain is becoming a detective brain. It's looking for grief everywhere. You walk past the picture in the hallways, it breaks you down. You see his hat sitting on the chair where he left it, it breaks you down. You see someone that you haven't seen in 30 years because they showed up at the funeral, it breaks you down. People start calling you. You start receiving cards. They're showing up with the ham and the potato salad. It breaks you down. All of those things break you down. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. You are not going to forget your person. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. Healing means taking the pain apart, breaking it apart so that it can stop running your life. We need to look in here. We need to look at the pain. You and I need to go in here. We need to look at this pain. You need to break it apart. What is this? Why do I have this pain in my heart right now? It's grief. And each and every one of us has a different box. Each and every one of us has a different look. For each and every one of us, the grief looks different. Ah! I love having the curtains open, but I guess it's not going to work for me today. When I came in here, it was dark. Each and every one of us has a different look. The heaviness in your body will not stay like this forever. That heaviness you're feeling, it's not going to stay like this. When you do the action steps to move the grief, the days start to get a little lighter. Peace, your peace is not a fantasy. You start learning the skills that you need. Talking, looking, touching, feeling. Listen to me when I tell you grief is not a place to stay. You are not supposed to park your butt here and stay here forever. It was never meant to be that way. When I'm saying that, it makes sense to me. If God, the universe, source, spirit, whoever you believe in, sent you here, and he or she was strong enough to make us, our eyes blink without us having to tell our eyes to blink. Our heart is beating. Our lungs are filling up with air. If everything that is happening to us, why would we not, if we were given emotions to feel, why would we not know what to do with these emotions? Think about it. Think about it. Grief is the saddest emotion you will ever experience. But why weren't we given the tools to deal with this emotion? Okay. What would peace look like to you right now? If you believed healing was possible, if you believe anything of what I'm telling you is true, what would peace look like for you right now? It would look like you get up and you cry. You're crying for him. You're crying for her. You get up and you cry because the body remembers, the pain remembers, and you let the snot run down your nose. and you cry your ass off, and then you get up and you take a shower and you feel that little moment of relief. If you feel that moment of relief, you walk out into the living room and you see everything that reminds you of him. And you, because you processed some of the grief, you're able to do the next thing. You're able to do the next thing. That's what peace looks like on a grief healing journey. And when I tell you that peace and grief can coexist on your grief healing journey, I'm telling you that they can. Now, are you going to get to peace right away? Hell no. I'm not telling you that. I'm not telling you, hey, girl, come on in here. I'm going to get you to peace. That's not what I'm telling you. I'm telling you that you got to learn how to do this. You have to learn how to do this. I am just a guide. I cannot drag you along. Come on, do this. There are grievers in here right now who have gone through multiple programs who are still refusing to do the work. Why? Because they want me to jump into the pool with them and do it for them. And I can't do it. I can't do it for you. And I sure as hell didn't expect you to do it for me. Why? Because I don't know your person. I don't know Bob. I don't know Carrie. I don't know Susie. You know who I knew? I knew Austin. I knew Donovan. I knew somebody I called Daddy. And I knew Sharon. Sharon was my best friend. That's who I knew. I knew them. I had relationships with them. And when my people died, it was about my heart. And I had to do the work in my heart. All right. Number 60. We're on number 60. We made it to 60. We have 40 more. Wow. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Okay, 60. Time. Time is not a healer. Oops, is. I did a video that's posted on my Instagram. And someone made a comment. See if I can find it. Someone made a comment. Hold on. She made a beautiful comment on one of the videos. Let me see if I can find what she said, because she said about time. She absolutely said that time is where, I can't find it. Basically, she said, so true. She was talking about my video. This is so true. We have to wait. She said, we have to wait. And every time I walk past his hat or his picture, it breaks me down, but I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for the time to move me. And I was like, how'd she get that out of my video? But time does nothing. Time does nothing by itself. Time by itself does nothing. Time by itself does nothing. Sitting and waiting, it will move nothing. People have waited years, hoping that the pain would just fade. And some days it feels like it's actually working. Some days it feels like it's actually working. You're like, oh my gosh, I did this today, and that was good. And then out of nowhere, you walk into the grocery store and you see a box of Lucky Charms and you want to fall right there. You want to fall right there. If you're sitting in time and just waiting for it to heal, you are avoiding. You are avoiding the grief. And avoidance just freezes the grief right in place. That's what it does. Process means moving it. I teach you how to move the grief. Healing happens because of the work that you do with your time. It's action. It's action. It's action within time. What action are you doing within time to help you move the grief? Talking, writing, feeling, understanding. You have to understand what this grief is. This, my friend, is what turns pain into something you can live with, something you can break down. And once you get to the part that you can live with it, then you can break it down and do your much needed grief work. Then you can complete that pain. Because I'm telling you right now, closure is not a thing. It's such bullshit that they're trying to sell you on this closure thing. It's not a thing. Waiting to move this grief is only going to keep you stuck. What have you been doing with your time? And how's that working for you? Is it supporting you or is it causing delay? What have you been doing with your time? Because over here at the Grief School, we have a program called Processing the Pain of Grief. It is where you learn the definition of grief. And I start on week 1. Grief is a normal. Grief is a normal and natural reaction to a loss of any kind. Grief is normal. Grief is natural. Period. That's what it is. We are all going to have multiple grieving experiences. We have been done so dirty. We've been done so dirty. We've been done dirty by the medical community, by our doctors, by our clergy, by our family, by our friends. We have been done dirty, all of us, right? And we have done dirty to other people. We got to own it. I mean, I remember telling a lady at church one time who had just had a miscarriage. You're young. You can have more children. And for the rest of my life, I will never forget the look on her face. For the rest of my life, I will never forget the look on her face. Because we tell people those dumb things. We go out there and say those things to them. Time alone does not heal. How have you been using your time? Are you coming to the lives? Are you writing out what you need to do? Are you journaling? Are you talking? Have you joined Processing the Pain of Grief? Processing the Pain of Grief is where it's at. It is the great first place to start at the Grief School. It is $98 a month. And until December 31st, it is $57 for all the founding members. And it is going to go up, and it's going to continue to go up, because I'm telling you, it's 19 years of my heart poured out. Okay, 61, 59, 60. I'm putting 2 things on a page because I only had 9 pieces of paper. I had to count them. And I'm a big writer. 61. Ooh, 61. Should haves are not true. There you go. Your should haves are not true. Regret always shows up when you love someone, but so does something that we call guilt. All of you come to me with the guilt, and I bring the guilt down. The should haves are not true. They are your grief talking. They are other people telling you, you should have done this. You should do this. You should do this. They are all going to should on your grief. And so are you. I should have answered the phone. I should have opened the door. I should have called. Why didn't I go out? Why didn't I do this? Should haves are huge. Regret and grief go together like peanut butter and jelly. They're kissing cousins. They're twin sisters. They go together. They will absolutely be on your grief healing journey. We will all have that. Your brain rewinds every moment, trying to rewrite what could not have been rewritten. You come upon your grief healing journey, and your brain starts to relive that story. And then I was sitting in the real estate open house, and then the phone rang, and then I heard her say, Mom, I lost Austin. Mom, I lost Austin. And my knees went to the ground. When I tell you that I have repeated that story 1,000,000 times in my brain, out of my mouth, and to you, I have repeated this story 1,000,000 times. In the book, Grieve That Shit, which I just received the manuscript yesterday, I asked Brittany to write a chapter for me. And I start with, Mom, I lost Austin. It was a sentence that changed my life forever. And Brittany went and wrote her own chapter. And she wrote, the sentence that changed my life forever. Because your brain is going to review the story. It's going to look at it and it's going to find this, because the brain is the detective. This is your heart. This is all of the things, and it drops down into here. There's so much going on. So much going on. Your brain rewinds every moment, trying to rewrite what couldn't be rewritten. You did the best you could with what you knew how to do at the time. Crisis does not create perfect decisions. It creates survival. I'm not trying to give you a break or make you say that thing shouldn't have happened or you shouldn't have done that. In a crisis, it is not a perfect story. Pushing yourself will not change the past. I cannot go in here and make Austin not have gone to the lake that day. I cannot go in here and make Brittany not be there. This happened to me. My heart absolutely knows what happened. My brain is trying to figure this out. But what do I do with this story? What do I do with this story? This now becomes my grief story. You all have a grief story. What are you doing with your grief story? Are you choosing to stay stuck in the pain? Are you choosing to stay stuck in the pain of your grief story? Because when I tell you, you came here with the ability to look at that story, find the regret, tell the story over and over again, and move beyond the pain. The pain. Move beyond the pain. To move beyond the pain. Here's my question, friends, and this is for you. What regret are you carrying that is costing you your peace? What regret are you carrying that is costing you your peace in your grief healing journey? You know what it is. You don't have to type it here. I don't need to see it. You need to answer that question for yourself because it's huge. What regret are you carrying that is costing you your peace? What is the thing you need to say right now, but you are not saying it out loud? What is that thing that you need to say? Hey, Courtney. Hey, Courtney is your bestie, your Canva bestie. I love Miss Courtney. Hey, Miss Courtney. She's helping me so much with this business. She's a beautiful, beautiful lady. Okay. She's my coach right now. She's one of my grief coaches. What regret are you carrying that is costing you, that is costing your peace? Hey, girl, just helping me sit and put my thoughts together have been huge. You helped me put my thoughts together. There's going to be regret. I can't take that regret from you. There's going to be regret. My job is to help you identify the regret. My job is to help you identify the regret. Then once we find the regret, we start to look at it and go through it regret by regret. But that's not what you do. You guys find the regret on your own because you're able to, because you know it. I'm telling you, you could name it right now beyond a reasonable doubt. And then you take that little bit of regret and you allow it to stay right here. Then you carry it with you. You carry that regret with you everywhere you go. Let me turn that around. Hi, my name is Sharon. Yeah, my nephew Austin died. Yeah, I regret that I wasn't there. Like, that's literally what it looks like. Hi, this is my grief regret. Oh, yeah, no, I'm carrying it with me. I'm taking it with me. We carry it everywhere. And then we don't know what the hell to do with this. We don't know what the hell to do with this. And so we just keep carrying it. But we're smart. So you know what the next thing we do is we start adding to it. Like, oh, it's not heavy enough. I found my brain is finding more regret. So it starts adding more regret to it. So now, instead of just walking around with a little bit of regret, here's my cards, you start carrying more regret because your brain has found the regret. This is the regret. And you're carrying it around like a trophy because you don't know how to move it. 99.9% of the grievers that come in here bring me this. Hey, Sharon, what is this? Can you help me with this? Because we don't know what we're doing. When I tell you we don't know what we're doing, we don't know what we're doing. And that is not a lie. When Austin died in 2006, I needed somebody to show me how to do this. I needed someone to come along and tell me that what I was doing was right. But there was no one. So I created that. I'm that person now. I'm your guide. You come into the grief school and you start in a program called Processing the Pain of Grief. And I break down grief for you step by step so you can understand what it is. You're never going to move it if you don't understand it. Okay, 62. Oh my gosh, these are getting better. We're doing 100, the 100 things you never knew about grief. The whys and the what ifs never give you peace. You guys, I'm so glad that you're here. I want to tell you something. I wrote a book that's coming out. It's called Grieve That Shit. And I picked up the manuscript yesterday because I have to mark some stuff off, change it and read it and all that. And it's called Grieve That Shit. And it is coming out. It's absolutely coming out. I know I've been promising since March that it was going to come out. But I rewrote it, added, I did all the things. Oh my gosh, I just made you guys dizzy. Sorry. Here it is. And something happened to me last night when I was reading this, and I realized that I have been holding back, and I decided not to do that anymore. So if you notice I'm talking different, it's because I feel like I am holding you back. I'm holding you back, and I have to talk so that you guys can totally understand what I'm saying. Sitting in this grief is sitting in the grief, period. If you want to move the grief, you're going to have to do some action steps to move that grief. 100%. You're going to have to do some action steps to move that grief. The whys and the what ifs will never give you peace. They're never going to give you peace. Your mind keeps looking for answer. Your brain, your grief brain is looking everywhere it can for answers. And it wants answers. And guess what? Your heart is rejecting everything the brain is coming up with. It doesn't feel right. The brain comes back. It's like, okay, I got an answer to number one. And it sends it to the heart. And the heart feels sad. No, that's not it. Okay, well, I have an answer to number two. Just wait. Just give it time and just wait. And the heart goes, that's not it. This doesn't feel right. Something is wrong. And then it comes back with number three. And eventually, the brain is going to give up because it can't solve the case. It cannot solve the case and it will give up. Your mind keeps looking for answers that do not exist. Time is not an answer. Keep busy is not an answer. Just move on is not an answer. Those are clichés that everyone is telling you, and I'm telling you it's not an answer. And the answers you keep coming back with are never going to satisfy your heart. Your heart is never going to be satisfied until you, the griever, go into this heart and look for the pain. Until you go in there. Peace begins when you stop demanding the answers and start learning what grief is. Peace begins when you stop demanding the answers. You are demanding that your brain do this. You didn't even know you were doing it, I'm telling you. You didn't even know you were doing it. You are demanding that your brain do this. But where you are really, truly broken is right here, love. Your heart is broken, not your brain. The power of healing is not in solving the case. The power of healing lies right here within your heart. Number one, acknowledging that you are grieving. Number two, understanding the definition of grief. Grief is a normal and natural reaction to a loss of any kind. And you, my friend, are doing a normal and natural response to the loss. The power is learning to live again with your person, not despite it. There are so many of us out here that are trying to figure out. We have eaten everything in the cabinet. We have drank every bit of wine that is in the house. We have watched every TV show. We have scrolled on social media. Is that you? I see you, girl. I see you. I know it's you. You know how I know? Because it was me. It was me. Avoiding, not talking, staying away from. It is me. It was me doing all the things. Look, your brain, and part of this is going to be drink the wine, eat the cookies, sleep, TV, shop. Oh, I got an idea. Go on vacation. Vacay. Right? Your brain comes up with all these ideas, and the heart is still sad because wherever you go, there you are. And wherever you go, you take your broken heart with you. And if you are okay with living with that broken heart, trust me, girl, I'll still be your friend. I will still hang out with you, and I will still talk grief with you every day of the week. But here's the deal. That grief is yours. It was given to you. You lost your person. Your heart is absolutely broken. And what are you going to do with that grief? What are you, griever, going to do with that grief? And the best place to start is processing the pain of grief. It's the best first place to start. And it is my membership that starts on December 2nd. And I'm going to open up with a lecture. And that lecture is going to talk about the definition of grief. I took grief work on vacation with me. Yes, she did. Miss Becky is all the way across the world. And I'm going to use that as an example, and I hope that's okay. We have evolved, friends. We have evolved as a people. We have evolved as a kind. We're not the same person that we were. We're not the same humankind that we were 100 years ago. Listen, the world has evolved. Miss Becky was in another part of the world. She had a phone that she could turn on, and she and I could see each other. And she is in another part of the world, and she's absolutely able to do her grief. The world has evolved. But you know what didn't evolve? Let me just tell you how we've evolved. We can switch a light, and a fan can come on if we're hot. We can turn a light on. We have a door. We go to the kitchen sink, and we hit the faucet, and water comes out of it. Water comes out of it. You didn't have to go down the street with your bucket, put it in a hole, and pull up some water. No, they've evolved that. Guess what? We have something called technology. You guys are looking at me standing in Frisco, Texas. You're watching me. You're seeing me live, right? Water has evolved. Electricity has evolved. The world has evolved. But you know what didn't evolve? Grief. The way we grieve has not evolved. They haven't changed it. As a humankind, everything has evolved. Why is it that grief hasn't evolved? Give it time? Are you kidding me? That's so old. Just keep busy. Look, next year, I'm going to be in June of next year, I'm going to hit my 19th anniversary of teaching grief. And even the way that I teach it has evolved. 19 years I've been on this journey of helping you guys grieve. Sitting in the grief is not a plan. It's okay if that's what you want to do. I'm okay with it, but it is not a plan. Number 63. Number 63. If guilt is spinning in your mind, you need to talk about it. If you're feeling guilt, you need to talk about it. If you're feeling guilt, you absolutely need to talk about it. Let's talk about guilt. Let's see how many pages I have left, EK. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I stretched it out. I'm down to 6. All right. Guilt that stays in your head grows. Guilt that stays in your head grows. I contemplated, should I get a new pad or should I try and make these 9? I had 9 pages, but I had 10 things to say. So, guilt. Let's talk about guilt. First of all, you need to understand the definition of guilt. And y'all could go look it up. Guilt, Webster's dictionary, is with intent to deceive or do harm. With intent to deceive or harm. That is guilt. When I tell you that regret and grief go together like peanut butter and jelly, guilt and grief don't necessarily go together. Is guilt on a grief healing journey? Maybe. Is guilt on a grief healing journey for you? Maybe. I don't know. The definition of grief is with intent to deceive or do harm. And so when people come up to me and say, I'm so guilty, I feel so guilty, I have this guilt, it's so heavy. Then my question to you is, and then they tell me the story. So it's like, I'm so guilty. The phone rang, and it was 9:00 at night, and I didn't answer the phone. I didn't answer the phone because I was with my husband and his boss at dinner. And I looked at the phone and I saw that he called me and I didn't answer the phone. This is an actual story of my sister Erica. And so I sent him a text and I said, at dinner with Dad and his boss, I will call you tomorrow. She didn't answer the phone, but she also didn't tell me she didn't answer the phone. She held on to that guilt for as long as she could, and it was killing her on the inside. Why didn't I answer the phone? Why didn't I answer the phone? I should have answered the phone. Why didn't I answer the phone? And she felt guilty for not answering the phone. That's Erica's story, and I share it because I have permission to share it, and 1, and 2, she shared it all over the podcast. The podcast is Grieve That Shit. If you guys want to follow me at the podcast, the same name as the book, Grieve That Shit. So she had guilt. Her brain, why? Phone. What? Her brain was going through all the things from that night. Her brain was going through all the things from that night. Okay. Guilt and grief will definitely feel in your heart like they're supposed to be there. When I asked you, did you intend to do harm? Did she intend to do harm by not answering the phone? And if the answer is no, which most often is, then I want to help you to replace that with regret. So a lot of you come in here and you tell me, I feel so guilty. I didn't answer the phone and my heart feels broken. But the actuality is, if you didn't intend to harm him or hurt him in any way, it is probably regret that you own. It just feels like it's guilt, because we want to wear guilt like an umbrella of emotions that covers every bit of grief. We want to own that guilt. We want to stay in that guilt. We love that guilt. We think that guilt is, oh, it's going to carry us. It's going to hold us. But you got to look at it, my friends. The guilt or the regret. Just, Monetta's right. You're not, for a lot of us, we can't untangle this alone. We've got to get into the grief school and we've got to work that down. This is where we learn how to separate it. Now, could you own guilt? Yes, you could. Did you have an affair? Did you cheat? Did you purposely go out to hurt them? Did you purposely go out to hurt them? It's guilt. Will you have some guilt on your grief healing journey? Yes, you may. You may. But we need to break it down and look at it. At the grief school, you learn how to separate what you feel from what is true. Talking gives the pain somewhere to go. Silence keeps it trapped. When you come in here and we talk about this thing, we give the grief pain somewhere to go. But for most of us, we just want to sit in here and hold it and carry it around and carry it to the grocery store. Okay. 64. Guess what? Talking is not the only way to process your grief. Talking is not the only way to process your grief. Processing is non-negotiable. We as grievers have to process. We as grievers have to process our grief. Hold on. TikTok is telling me I've been on for an hour. We as grievers have to process the grief. Some people talk. Some people write. Others walk. Some pray. Some people paint. Some grievers sit quietly. However you are feeling to process your grief is absolutely okay, 100%. I'm not telling you, hey girl, you have my permission to do it that way. You do what you know your body needs. And if crying is what your body needs, then by all means, girl, sit in the cry. By all means, sit in the cry. If that's what you need, then sit in the cry. I'm absolutely okay with it. It doesn't matter how you release the grief. What matters is what feels right to you. It only matters that you release it from your heart. It only matters that you go into your heart and you release this thing. Pain is not pain. Hold on one second. Pain that is not expressed gets stuck and it gets heavier. When it gets stuck, it gets heavier. When we talk about it, when we walk with it, when we paint it, when we sit quietly in it, it moves and it gets lighter. That's why, this is exactly why, when you have the ugly cry and snot is running down your nose and you sit in your stomach and you rolled over and you cry and cry and cry, the next day or that night, you feel this little shift and a little sense of release. You feel a little sense of movement. That's why. It's because you absolutely 100% have processed some of the grief. That's why when you go out for that walk, the prayer walk, and you pray all the way, my program is not religious, I'm just saying this, and you pray all the way, and you get back and you feel a little sense of relief, it's because you moved the grief. Pain that is not expressed gets heavier. Pain that is expressed moves and gets lighter. What form of expression for the pain are you using instead of just allowing it to pile up? What are you using? What part of expression are you using? All right. Talking is not the only way. We can journal. We can walk. We can sing. We can cry. We can dance. We can paint. And more. There are a lot of ways that we can process the grief in our body. And you have to do the thing that feels right to you. But there is a way, an absolute way, that we can move the grief. You can start moving the grief. All right. That was 64. 65. This is so cool. 65. The reminders. Will come. The memory, the reminders, the memory, the event, all of those things will come. Let them. Let the reminders come. Let the memories come. Look at them. When I tell you in the beginning, the brain is doing reminder, memory, event. And sometimes that is so overwhelming, we almost hardly can breathe through it. We can almost hardly breathe through it. It is so much. You will see your person in the colors. You will see your person in the sounds. You will see your person in the smells. You will see your person in the moments that never got expressed. Sometimes it will break you wide open even more than you already are. You are not even thinking about them. You're just walking down the street. You're not even thinking about them. You're just walking down the street. You're going to pick your kid up from school and you're just walking. And all of a sudden you come upon a tree where every single leaf is orange. It takes your breath away. It's so beautiful. You just start looking at the tree. You're like, oh my gosh, how beautiful that is. And then your brain does this thing where it takes you back to a memory of 1979, where you and your person were in the forest walking through a camping trip, and you saw this tree and you guys decided to go sit under it. You haven't thought about that memory in 100 years. But you're walking to pick your kid up from school, you see the tree, you start taking in the beauty of the tree, and boop, your brain takes you back to that memory. The reminders are going to come, and I don't care what the connection is. There will always be a connection. This pen, this box, this set of playing cards, this mouse, this roll of tape, this plug, this box. There will always be a connection. You're just minding your own business, and out of nowhere, that memory is going to come, and it is going to come. You will see your person everywhere, and sometimes it will break you even wider open than you are right now, and sometimes it will soften you, and both of them are allowed. The reminders are proof of the love. They're not your setbacks. Let the memories land where they land. Look in them. Look at that. Look at 1979 and then ask yourself, what am I feeling? Because here's what happens in the memory, in this reminder. You start asking yourself, instead of what am I feeling, what does this memory feel? You start asking yourself, what? What could I have done differently? Why? Why didn't I do that? I should have done this. You start examining it with these. That's the intellectual part. I'm telling you, when you have the memory, drop into the emotional part. What is your heart telling you? What feeling am I having right now? Let the memory land. Let the pain be there. Acknowledge what the pain is and let it warm you up. And you can cry all the way through it. Here's my question. What reminder of your person shows up the most? And what does it stir in you? What does it stir in you when you have this reminder? Okay, 66. You guys have 3 more. Loneliness in grief does not mean you're alone. Loneliness in grief doesn't mean you're alone. It means your world has changed. I said I was going to write smaller today. Your world has changed. Loneliness equals your world has changed. You can be surrounded by people that still feel like you are on an island and still feel like you're on an island. You can be surrounded by 200 people. You could go to the wedding reception. There are 200 people here. They are drinking. They are eating the crudité. They are at the grazing table. They are all dressed up. And you're dressed up. You're in your long gown. And you're standing there and replaying over and over and over again in your brain is, doesn't anybody know I'm still grieving? Do people know I'm still grieving? Do people know my brain is breaking? Do they understand? You can be surrounded by people and feel like you are on an island all by yourself. And that is normal in grief. Your world has changed. Somebody took your box and they shook it upside down. And whatever is left in there is what you get back. Your world has been shaken upside down. And what you got back looks like this. It's completely upside down. And you will feel lonely in that. You can be surrounded by people and still feel like you're on an island. Your world split into 2. Your world split into 2. Before and after. And this is where you are. You're in between. You're trying to figure it out. And the after is where you're going to end up. And you get to decide what this looks like for you. Before is when you had your person, when they were here, when you were holding hands, when you were loving each other, when you were all hanging out. And then it happened. A diagnosis, a knock on the door, a phone call. And you were stuck into the between. You're standing in the middle trying to make sense of this. The loneliness will only shrink when you let people walk beside you on your grief. When you allow a grief specialist who is completely bald-headed to come in and help you. Help you, guide you, lead you, not fix you. Just sit with you. All of you beautiful women in here are sitting with one another. You're holding the space for one another. When your loneliness is the loudest thing in the room, what brings any amount of relief for you? What brings relief when the loneliness is the loudest thing? Who brings the relief? Grief makes you impulsive. 67. Impulsive. Grief makes you impulsive, and that's not weakness. That is overload. Your brain is overloaded. Your brain is overloaded. Your brain is overloaded. It's overloaded trying to figure this thing out. Your emotions are loud. Your body is tired. The combination makes you react instead of think. The combination makes you react to the grief instead of think. She loves that bald lady with the marker. Thank you, Flower Girl. Your emotions are loud. Your body is tired. The combination makes you react instead of think. The combination makes you react instead of think. Overspending, overeating, snapping, yelling, screaming, regretting things later, staying in the cry, not being able to stop the cry. And none of those makes you bad. None of them makes you bad. It means that you're in pain and you're trying to figure out how to move this pain. You will get better at pausing when you learn how to calm what is underneath. What is underneath? What is underneath the cry? What's underneath there? Mostly, okay, the tears serve a purpose. We all know that. I've said this 100 times. The tears serve a purpose to release the pain. But if you're not spending time looking at the pain because you don't know what the hell the pain is, or you're scared of the pain, it's not going to move. It is simply going to stay. And your grief brain makes you impulsive. Your grief brain will make you impulsive. You've got to look what's underneath there. You have to look. And you have to be honest about it. You have to be honest about it. Let the flashbacks be there. You have to be honest about it. Because every time you have a flashback, what emotion is coming with that flashback, my love? 67. Okay, the last one. Do not. EK. I made it. Girl, I made it and I have a sheet to spare, but we'll probably use it up. Do not rebuild. Do not rebuild your life. Hold on. I hate this marker. Jeez, I think I already knew I hated it. Do not rebuild your life while your emotions are on fire. There are so many people out there that are absolutely, there are so many people out there that are absolutely in an active grieving situation. They're 100% right in the middle. Bam, right in the middle. And they will do anything they can to get rid of this grief. I talked about this yesterday. So here they are. They live in this town, but they will move all the way to this town because they want to get away from this broken heart no matter what. Do not rebuild your life while you are actively grieving. Stay where you are. Stay exactly where you are, especially if you can. If you do not have to sell your house, don't sell your house. If you don't need to get rid of his car, don't get rid of his car. If you do not have to clean out the closet, then don't clean out the closet. Don't move. Don't move. Stay where you are and breathe. Breathe. That's your job. Because your brain is on fire. Your brain is on fire and it's trying to figure out every way out of this. It is trying to figure out every way out of this current situation. And you will make mistakes. You will do something that you weren't intending to do. Grief twists logic and it switches, turns it up. 1 minute you want to burn your life down. The next you want to run from it. And then the next you're like, okay, well, it's not that bad. Oh, no, I was wrong. Get out of here. This is why you don't make major life decisions in the beginning. You do not make major life decisions in the beginning. Breathe, breathe. Now, hear me out. There are grievers who live with their husband, who their husband is 100% the supporter and provider of their life. And that husband died. And now I no longer have that form of support. I may have to sell my house. I may have to get a job. I understand that. But if you can sit for a minute before you make that decision, so much better. Do your grief work first. I tell everybody, please, if you can, do your grief work. Do your grief work first. We do not make early major life decisions early on. Your emotions are not stable yet. You need clarity before you make choices that shape your future. Slow down, breathe. And if you have to make a decision, by all means, get some advice. I didn't say crowdsource. I didn't say go out and ask everybody. I didn't say go to the grocery store and ask the lady behind the counter. I didn't say ask your meat man. Maybe you want to talk to a financial advisor. Maybe you want to talk to your pastor. Maybe you want to talk to your priest. Maybe you want to talk to your best friend. There are different ways that you're going to get in there and you're going to try to understand what is going on. Your brain needs to be stable. Your heart needs to be. And some of us have to make the decisions in the beginning. And I understand that. I didn't say go out and crowdsource and ask everybody. Get a few people that you need to ask and get them. What decisions are you considering that make space instead of urgency? What decisions are you considering that need space instead of urgency? That's what we need to look at, my friends. That's absolutely what you need to look at. All right. Here's what I need you to understand. You cannot overthink this pain. Hey, Dr. Fraser, you cannot outrun it. You cannot carry it for the rest of your life. This pain was never meant for you to carry for the rest of your life. And it is not going to magically soften because you think you're outrunning it. That's what your brain wants you to think about this grief. That is not how our heart work comes together. Our heart work, we have to do our heart work. Hey, y'all all went to school and you did your homework, I hope. Most of you did. If you're anything like me, you did everything you could to get out of it, right? Well, at the grief school, we do something called heart work. We do the work on our heart. What is your heart work? What is the heart work you have to do? That's what I want to know. The pain you feel right now is not permanent, but it will stay exactly where it is until you learn how to process it out of your heart. And you learn how to process it out of your heart correctly. This is where most grievers get stuck. They wait for time. They wait for time to fix this healing. This is where most grievers will get stuck. And what happens is a lot of us will wait for time not knowing that there was a possibility to do something different. Someone in here says, how do I find the grief school? You click the picture, click my picture, click the link that says click here for hope. And there you'll find everything you need. You wait for life to slow down, knowing that life is not going to slow down, knowing that your heart is so broken. And this is why I created Processing the Pain of Grief. And let me tell you exactly what it is, so there is no confusion. Processing the Pain of Grief is not my ultimate grief healing program. This is for the women who are on the grief journey and who are just trying to survive. They don't understand the definition of grief. They don't know what grief is. They have pain in their body. Processing the Pain of Grief is where I come in every week and I teach a lecture on grieving and the definition of grief. And that is on Tuesdays. That is recorded. It is me absolutely teaching. It is recorded. I don't answer questions there. I just teach. You're absolutely able to come into the lecture hall and listen to the lecture. On Thursday at 4 p.m. Central Time, we get into the classroom. We get into the classroom. Hey, did y'all hear me say Central Time? At 4 p.m. Central Time, we get into the classroom, and that's where we work on what I've actually taught you. And week 1 starts on December 2nd, and it's where we're going to come together, and I'm going to start with the definition of grief. On Thursday, y'all, I taught the most amazing class on the brain. And Suzanne and I were in there, and I was like, we need more like this. Stop, EK. Don't make me laugh. This is serious. Week 1, I teach you what a broken heart really is. And then I start showing you what to do with it. Each week, you're going to get homework. Each week, you're going to get homework. What is resisting? What is resisting grief? Why are you pushing back against this? Why are you pushing back? Why are you not willing to go this way? What are you holding back in and why? We talk about grief. We learn about grief. We learn how to lean into the grief. Processing the pain of grief is a combination of learning and support. It's not the ultimate grief support group, but you will get support in there. There will be other grievers in there who are sharing their story, and you're going to hear their story. And you're going to be like, oh, that's why. Miss Debbie just said such and such. That's why I feel this way. Hey, Dee Dee. It is a structured grief healing program. It is the best place to start. You click my picture, click the link that says click here for hope. It is $98 a month. And right now, the founder's price is $57. It's going to start on December 2nd. Here's the other thing. On December 31st, it is going up to $98. So if you want to get in at the $57, now is the chance to do it. You'll get access to the Processing the Pain of Grief library. You will get access to me. You'll get access to the group. You're going to get actually weekly heart work. You're going to get some heart work every week that you need to do. Do it, don't do it. I'll tell you which ones really need to be done, but it's going to be there for you. You'll have the access. There are women that come into Processing the Pain of Grief that are barely able to hold themselves together. And they leave with a calmer nervous system. They leave with lighter mornings. They leave with fewer breakdowns. They leave with the first real breath that they have taken in a very long time. If anything I've said to you is hitting closer to where you are and your chest is really tight and you know this is for you, if your thoughts are spinning and you know absolutely that you need to be in this class, click the link. Click my picture. Then click my picture again and click the link that says click here for hope. Because I tell you, here's the deal. It's a monthly program. Come in for 1 month, come in for 2 months, come in for 3 months. It is absolutely you're able to drop in and drop out. If your thoughts have been spinning, if your heart is broken, if you can't even say your person's name, you need to be in Processing the Pain of Grief membership. You do not have to live with this level of pain on your own. You do not have to do this alone anymore. If you're ready to stop suffering, this is where you start. All right, friends. I'm going to stop the video because I was recording this. And then I'm going to answer some questions.